Welcome to our video lesson on percents, decimals, and fractions. Percents, decimals, and fractions are all different ways of showing the same value. For example, we can see that this cup is a half full. Another way you could say that is that it's 50% full, or that it's 0.5. So one of the important things to understand is when someone says a percent or a fraction or a decimal, what they really mean, and to make sure that you are aware of what they're trying to say. In this video lesson, we're going to talk about converting between percents to decimals, percents to fractions, and vice versa. The first one is converting from percents to decimals. So here I have a whole bunch of percents written down, and I have my steps. It's important that you write down the steps and the title and the examples. So the first thing I want to do, as we know, percent means per 100. So we are going to think of this as 160% is 160 out of 100. Well, to write this as a decimal, we just need to divide this number by 100, 160 by 100. So if we do that, we're going to get 1 decimal 6. So that means that 160% is 1 decimal 6. All right, now I have 0.45. So that means that I have 0.45 out of 100. And so we divide 0.45 by 100. A nice way to do this is, you know that dividing by 100 is moving the decimal place 2 spots to the left. So we'll have 0.0045. And the last one, 12.6%. Again, we're going to divide by 100 because it's 12.6 over 100. So I know I can move my decimal spot 2 spots to the left, and I'll have 0.126. Notice that none of my numbers changed, just that the numbers are the same. I was just moving the decimal point around. And it's interesting to see where the numbers go in terms of my percent. So when you're doing these, be aware that you're just really moving the decimal place over. Okay, now we're going to go from a percent to a fraction. Now, as you know, percent means per 100. So to write a percent as a fraction, you're going to write the percent as a fraction out of 100. So if this is 160, again, it's 160 out of 100. Now we don't have any decimals in this one, but I'm going to right away divide both by 10 to get 16 out of 10. That's an improper fraction, so that I know that's 1 6/10. That's equal to 1 3/5. All right, next one, 0.45 out of 100. Now we have this decimal here, which isn't always great to work with, but notice step 2 says multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number to eliminate decimals. So I have decimal 45. Well, if I want to move my decimal over 2 places to get rid of it, I need to multiply both my numerator and my denominator by 100. So that will give me 45 out of 10,000. Then I want to simplify that. Well, I know I can divide both by 5, so 45 divided by 5 is 9. And then 10,000 divided by 5 should be 2,000. So I'll get 9 2,000. Next one, 12.6 out of 100. Again, I have this decimal. If I multiply the numerator by 10, it'll move my decimal place over once and I'll have a whole number. So I'm going to multiply both by 10 and I'll get 126 out of 1,000. Well, to simplify that, I know they're both divisible by 2. So 126 divided by 2 would be 113. And 1,000 divided by 2 would be 5,000. Oh, hopefully you caught my mistake here. 126 divided by 2 is not 113. It is 63. So it'll be 63 out of 500. All right, now I'm going to go from a decimal to a percent. So I need to figure out what this would be as a percentage. So decimals, or percents, sorry, represent the hundredths place. And the hundredths place is the place 2 points after the decimal. So the 6 here is in the hundredths place. The 2 here is in the hundredths place. So what we're going to do to convert from a decimal to a percent is we multiply it by 100, or convert it so that we've got this 26, which is in our hundredths place, so 6, as a whole number. So 3.26 would be 326%. And I got that by multiplying by 100. Same thing here, I'm going to multiply by 100. So I'm moving my decimal over 2 spots. So that is equal to 12.5%. This one down here is interesting. We're going to move again 2 spots, 1, 2. So that's times 100, which is equal to 0.32%. Notice how each time we're taking the number in the hundredths place, and that is becoming our ones place. So we're multiplying it by 100. Okay, then we need to go from decimals to fractions. Now, in order to know how to write decimals as fractions, it's important that you know place value, which is what we did in the bell work this morning. So if you need to, pull out your bell worksheet so that you have the place values written in front of you, and then this becomes really easy. This is 3.26, or if you look at place value, this is the tenths place, and this is the hundredths place. So I have 3 as my whole, and then I'd have 26 hundredths, or 26 out of 100. Then I need to simplify this. So I have 3 and 26 out of 100, which is equal to 3 and, I know this is divisible by 2, so 13/50. Okay, next one. The 1 is in my tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So that means that I have 125 out of 1,000. So notice that my numerator is just the digits from my decimal, but my denominator is the place value of my last digit. So this was the 5 is my last digit. It's in the thousandths place, so I put 1,000 as my denominator. So then I have 125 over 1,000. Now they're both divisible by 25, and 125 divided by 5 will be 5. Sorry, 125 divided by 25, and then 1,000 divided by 25 should be 40. Now I can keep simplifying this. I can divide 5 by 5 and I get 1 and 8, and 40 by 5 and get 8. So this would be equal to 1/8. Okay, again, I'm going to look at my place values. So this is my tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So that means I have 32 10,000ths. Then I need to simplify this. I know they're both divisible by 2. 32 divided by 2 is 16, and 10,000 divided by 2 will be 5,000. I can divide by 2 again. 16 divided by 2 would be 8. 5,000 divided by 2 would be 2,500. Again, I can divide by 2. 4 and 1,250. I can keep going. 625. So this is 2/625. Okay, this is our last one. We're going to convert from fractions to percents, and we have 2 different methods that you can use. It doesn't matter to me which one you prefer, but you should try to use one of these 2 methods. So method 1 says rewrite the fraction with a denominator of 100. So here, if I have 1/20, I know that to make it a percent, I need to make it a something with a denominator of 100. Well, to get from 20 to 100, I multiply by 5. So So I'd multiply my numerator by 5, and I get 5/100. So that would be equal to 5%. This next one, in order to get to a denominator of 100 from 200, I have to divide by 2. Well, I'm going to take 71 and divide it by 2, and that's going to give me a decimal, which is just fine. It'll be 35.5, which means that this is 35.5%. Next one, 4/3. This is a little bit harder to do this way. We need to get from 3 to 100. Well, to get from 3 to 100, it's going to be times 33.3 repeated. So then I'm going to take that number and multiply it by 4, and I get 133.3 repeated. So this is equal to 133.3 repeated percent. So that's method 1. Let's do method 2 in blue so you can see the difference. And it doesn't matter to me which method you use, whichever you prefer. So option 2 is you divide the numerator by the denominator, and you should use your calculator for this. So 1 divided by 20, I take 1 and I divide it by 20, that gives me 0.05. Then I multiply my answer by 100, which will give me 5, or 5%. Same thing here, I'm going to take 71 divided by 200, gives me 0.355. I multiply by 100 or move the decimal place over twice, and I get 35.5%. Last one, take 4 divided by 3. I get 1.3 repeated. I multiply that by 100 or move the decimal over twice, and I get 133%. Well, 0.3 to the infinity to make sure it's exact percent. So it doesn't matter to me which method you want to use, either works. And that's all for now. If you need to go back and rewatch any part of this video, please do. It's here to help you. And if you have any questions, please ask me. That's all for now. I'll talk to you later.